10-5 here, right? And usually it's gonna be like this. We're gonna have like a 10-5 here. You try to like advance to maybe get to my legs to start passing, right? I want to stop him and I want to advance as well. So whenever I have a good grip, which means thumb in and my fingers outside, and I feel like I'm able to like open up his arms, open up his elbow outside, I'm gonna slide in and I'm gonna grab his neck like this, and I'm sliding my hips sideways. So whenever I approach, I like to slide my hips outside. So we end up in the position that we did here in the beginning, right? One leg totally on the mat, the other one just with a foot. So whenever I grab the neck, I'm gonna go forward, digging with my elbow, and I'm gonna get underneath to get the under, all right? So as much as I like this control in a gi, if you ever saw my matches, I got a lot of with that control over the top, grabbing the belt, or maybe grabbing wizard. All right, for NoGi, this one works a little bit better because there's so much more openings from this one. So whenever I can get the underhook, I want to go towards my opponent's far shoulder, and I want to put my thumb down like this, like anchoring myself here. Now, whenever I'm able to get here, the second hand goes here, and I'm gonna grab the edge of my hand from the top, putting a bit more pressure from the top. All right, so we want to lock his head and his arm in, and we want to put some pressure from the top. And now we're gonna go in two options. All right, first option is just testing our opponent, how let's say resilient he is, how much he want to fight, and if he's able to like fight back from that little pressure thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put pressure on his far shoulder to like drop it down a little bit towards the mat. All right. So whenever I feel like his shoulder really goes towards the mat and he has no good base there, I may use my hook now to get a simple sweep. All right. So why I said I'm testing him, it's because his hand is always here. If he's like, if he has a proper reactions and he's like fighting back real good, you always use the hand to get the base, right? But sometimes just because there's so much pressure, sometimes he will not be able to put that base in time, and his shoulder will collapse towards the mat. So as you can see, whenever I put his shoulder towards the mat, I'm elevating top leg. Not sweeping yet, just elevating and loading him on top of my hips. All right, so I'm making like a move with my knee, like bringing my knee up towards my chest. Now, whenever I'm here, I'm gonna activate the bottom leg, and I'm gonna put my toes on the mat, and I'm gonna elevate with the bottom one. All right, to be able to do that, I'm gonna keep my toes on the mat, my shoulder, tip of my shoulder, and I'm gonna put my forehead on the mat as well. Now it's going to be very easy for me to elevate my shoulders, to elevate my hips, sorry. Now, as a final move, I'm just going to gently push him, and I'm going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to keep my grips here. So I'm going to keep the setup. So from that point, I'm just going to drop my knee down. I'm going to keep it tight on his head and arm. All right, sometimes I like to go like wrist to wrist control, chest to chest tight, and I'm going to slide down. And from that point, we're going to do the same thing as we did yesterday with Berg. So I'm going to put my hips back to be sure that his hips are flat on the mat, and then I'm going to switch this side control. All right, so first thing, this is also the thing that Gutemberg mentioned yesterday. So whenever we're working in academy, drilling, sometimes even sparring with our partners, we're trying to make like a deal. I'm gonna grab something, you're gonna grab something, and we're gonna like exchange moves, right? So sometimes during like sparrings in the gym, we skip very important thing, hand fighting, all right? And then we go to the competition, and all of a sudden the guy's like dominating with his grips, all right? So that's a very important thing. to start hand fighting, to start like dominating with your grips, find openings. Now I'm moving forward. All right? As you can see, whenever I go with the underhook, I dig with my elbow first. I'm going all the way to the far shoulder. Now I'm going to grab from the top and put pressure here. Now sometimes when I feel like I'm having a pretty nice setup, but I'm not going to be able to bring his shoulder down, what can I do is I can lean a little bit towards the side and I can collect his arm with my elbow. And now I'm doing the same thing. Whenever his shoulder drops to the mat, I'm loading. Now toes on the mat, forehead, tip of my shoulder, and I elevate. Follow him. Drop your knees, stay tight, chest to chest control. Hips back. And we have a dominant position. Alright? So once again, we got two options. First, open up his position so you're able to approach in a safe way. Dig with your elbow. Put that pressure here. Alright? You have to feel like you're putting weight on his shoulder. Now, I'm gonna drop down and I'm gonna see if he's able to keep his base. If not, perfect. We're gonna have an easy sweep without like struggling. So now, load first. So as you can see, my knees close to my chest. Elevate with the bottom leg. If you need to, just gently push with the top one and follow. From this point, I want to stay tight with my opponent. Wrist to wrist, drop down, hips to hips. And got to control. Alright? Now, if we're not able to collapse his shoulder, but I see this arm is in my range. If it's far, forget about it. But if it's close, I'm going to lean here and I'm going to collect his arm with my elbow. Once I do that, I want to hold here on my side. And I'm using the dynamics to elevate, load, elevate, and finish with the sweep. All right? Let's go. Two options, guys. 1, 2, 3.